What's going on, everybody? Jonathan Rahena here, and welcome back to the Passion Belt YouTube channel. If you guys have never been here before, please consider checking out some of the other content I have created. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for future content. Now, today we are going to be doing an unboxing and an assembly short install of this product. And yeah, it should be a super short video. It's not going to be a full installation video, so if you guys are looking for that, there are plenty of other videos on YouTube with Chevy TrailBlazer suspension. So if you need to get to the point where I'm at today, just look those videos up and I'm sure you'll definitely figure it out. But today we're going to be getting into the rough country leveling lift kit for the 2003 to 2009 Chevy TrailBlazer. Now, I'm going to be doing a full suspension rebuild on my truck. My truck is about to roll 250,000 miles, and the rear suspension on it is still the stock suspension from factory, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to be doing a full suspension refresh with a brand new set of Bilsteins, the rough country leveling lift kit, and doing the sway bar end links and the minor ends here and there. So without further ado, let's get into this unboxing, and then we're going to go ahead and show you guys the assembly. Alrighty guys, so today we are going to be unboxing the rough country leveling lift kit for the 2003 to 2009 Chevy TrailBlazer. Now, this does fit other similar models like the GMC Envoy and the Oldsmobile Bravada and however many other variations of TrailBlazer that they made. I'm sure it's going to work for all of them throughout those years. Now, this right here is a 2-inch lift leveling kit, which will give you 2-inch in the front and then 0.75-inch in the rear. So it's just basically just going to help eliminate the factory rake that comes on the truck. If you don't know what rake is, basically that's when your vehicle from factory has a little bit more of a slope. Basically your front end sits a little bit lower than your rear. So this will help fix that issue and give you a nice little bit of a lift and give you some more ground clearance. So without further ado, let's jump into this unboxing. All right, so starting off, got some packing material, and then looks like we got the rear pucks right here. These ones right here appear to be made out of a polyurethane or a Delrin, not so much of a metal, which I wonder why they did that. But either way though, this is gonna be for the rear of the truck. This is the 0.7-inch of a lift that you're gonna be getting in the rear. So like I said, these are made out of like a polyurethane or a Delrin. And then next up, looks like we got a hardware baggie. I'm gonna assume this is for the front, which is actually really nice. They actually give you a full bag of all the hardware you're gonna need for assembly in the front. So really nice. Up next, we have the top hats for the front. Now, these right here are actually going to be replacing the entire top hat on your OEM shock, or on your OEM struts. So what you're going to go ahead and do is disassemble your struts. You're going to have to rent a spring compressor tool for that. And instead of putting your OEM top hat back on, you're going to be using this top hat. And this right here, from what I've read online, is the safest lift that you could do for your TrailBlazer. There are other lifts that are similar, but they get bolted onto the top of your top hat, and it's more of like a spacer for your strut. And it results in what people call the death lift, and it blows out your ball joints really quickly. So these appear to be made very nicely. I don't know, these look pretty high quality to me, so pretty happy about these. And like I said, these are going to be going in the front, giving it a 2-inch lift. What else is in the box? We got a pan flip from Rough Country and an installation guide. Look at this, you guys don't even need me. Look at this. You guys get a whole installation guide with photos from Rough Country. That's actually really nice. And damn, that sucks. No Rough Country stickers, but there is a service interval sticker, which that's pretty nice as well. So can't complain. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that unboxing. Let's get to the installation. Alrighty guys, time to get to the installation portion of the rough country leveling lift kit. Now, like I said guys, I am doing a full refresh on my suspension on my truck today, so I'm going a little bit further than actually what you have to do to install these. Now, I've already gotten my rear shocks completely removed because I'm going to be installing new Bilstein units to replace them. But in the meantime, if you guys are not going as far as replacing your entire rear shock, all you have to do is just remove the lower bolt by itself, and it should allow your rear end to have enough room to drop. Now, once you go ahead and remove that lower bolt from the shock, you'll have a jack underneath your rear end, applying a little bit of pressure. Once you alleviate that pressure, the rear end will drop ever so slightly, and then you'll be able to remove your rear spring and allow that lift puck to be fitted on top of it. So once we go ahead and get that done, we'll go ahead and reassemble everything, and then we'll work our way toward the front. Alrighty guys, so I just got the rear springs removed from the truck. I also got the new top hats installed on them already. As you can see, very nice fit. They just slip right on top. And wanted to give you guys a quick little disclaimer about the installation now, or about the removal process. Now, Rough Country on their installation guide says that all you have to do is just remove the bolts from the lower shocks, and that should give your rear end enough room to pivot down, and you should be able to slip your springs out. But that was not the case in my book. So today I actually had to unbolt the lower bolt from the panhard bar and unbolt my sway bar end links, and then that was enough to give me the room that I needed to drop the rear end enough to grab those springs and put the pucks on top. So hopefully I have enough clearance still to put those back in with the pucks on top, and then we'll go ahead and work our way toward the front. Alrighty guys, time to move on to the front end. As you can see, I've already removed my front struts from the vehicle already, and actually I've already gone ahead off camera and assembled one of my new Bilsteins with the Rough Country top hat. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to compress your spring and either swap your new Rough Country top hat onto your existing strut or a new strut assembly. Now at the beginning of the video I did mention that they did include a bag of hardware. Real quick disclaimer. As you can see, one of the studs is gold, one of them is silver. The gold one's from Rough Country, the silver one is from my local O'Reilly's. Rough Country shorted me one stud and one nut in the hardware pack. I'm gonna forgive them. They owe me about $2.50 for that stud and nut. But if you guys do run into the same problem, you guys can go to your local O'Reilly's, ask them for a, I believe it's a Geo Metro wheel stud, or a wheel stud with a thread pitch of 10 by 1.25. And you guys will be able to get a stud for this kit, because I had to go 3 different stores for that, and they all looked at me like I was crazy. One of them actually referred me to a hobby shop to get wheel studs for like a goat cart. So if you guys run into this issue, I just saved you a bunch of trips. Anyway, so like I said, you guys are going to be using this hardware from Rough Country, and you guys are going to be swapping this over to your new or existing strut assembly. The little washers that are like this on your strut assembly will no longer be used because they will not fit with the Rough Country top hat. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys how to get these assembled. Alrighty guys. As you can see right here, we have my old strut assembly and my new Bilstein strut assembly. Now, the spring on the Bilstein strut assembly is from my old strut assembly. We're going to be reusing the spring if you are swapping to a new strut, and we're also going to be using the insulator boot underneath your OEM top hat as well. So your final result will look like this. So let's get started. First order of business is we're going to be going ahead and compressing the spring on the old strut assembly so we can go ahead and safely disassemble the strut assembly. So like I said at the beginning of the video, you can go to your local auto parts store and source a set of spring compressor tools. I actually just went to my local Harbor Freight and ended up just buying a pair because they were so cheap. These things were like $32. And I had a 20% off coupon, you know, because you always get those. And yeah, I was able to buy this for cheaper than it would cost me to rent it. And yeah, I know it's not a tool that I'm going to be using very much, but it is a tool I have used in the past, and you know, I'll probably end up using it again in the future. So I decided to go ahead and just buy one of them. So go ahead and get your spring compressor tool locked in place. Alrighty, and then once you go ahead and get your spring tool in place, you're going to go ahead and crank these down just to get them just snug on there. Alrighty, so now that we have the spring compressor tool installed, we're going to have to compress this spring a lot. Now, I know it may seem absolutely terrifying, but the beautiful thing about these spring compressor tools, a lot of them have these little double lockers on them, so they kind of prevent the risk of these things just popping off on you. But always for safe measure, try to do this in a very open space and point the assembly away from you. Don't do like I'm doing in a very closed space. And yeah, anyway, so like I said, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna compress these down. You're gonna make sure that these are both compressed down evenly, so you do just a little bit at a time. And once you do that, you'll notice that the spring compresses evenly. And once the spring has compressed all the way, you will be able to freely move your strut from your spring. So let's do that. Alrighty guys, so once you go ahead and get to the point where the spring has been compressed and you have some play with the strut assembly within, you can go ahead and remove the top nut from the assembly. Now this 15mm nut may be a little difficult to remove because it may be spinning the actual inner shaft from the strut. So if you want to, what you can do is use a vice grip to the tip of it or within on the actual inner shaft itself, and just to hold it in place so you can remove that, that 15mm nut. Alrighty, so once we've gone ahead and removed the top nut from the strut assembly, we're going to start seeing that we are getting the old parts. None of these parts are going to be reused besides the insulator from the top hat itself. Now this one might be a little stuck on there, so you may have to use like a screwdriver or something to wedge it off, or just, you know, pry it off a couple times. But yeah, that is what you need to get off of your old top hat assembly. Now, like I said, I'm going to be installing my spring on a new Bilstein. I'm not going to be reusing my old struts. So at this point, we are completely done with this old strut assembly. We can go ahead and pull it out. And we're going to set all of those old parts to the side. Now, like I said, old strut assembly, we don't need anything. This right here, I don't actually need this collar. The new Bilsteins actually have a collar that's made for the spring, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so now it's time to get the new Bilsteins on. Once again, like I said, we're not going to be using the hardware from Bilstein. We're actually going to be using the hardware from Rough Country. So what we're going to go ahead and do is toss in the washer. Once the washer is in, we're going to go ahead and throw one of these rubber insulator bushings on it. Now these bushings are going to compress really wide once the assembly is completely together, so they're not going to stay that thick. So now that we have the lower washer and insulator cap on there, we can go ahead, get this in. Alright, so a quick overhead view of where we're at. We got the rubber insulator, one washer underneath it, and nothing else on top of it yet. Right now what I'm going to go ahead and do is add the Rough Country top hat, but before that we're going to go ahead and install our old rubber insulator, because this right here has the notch on it to hold the spring in place. So that fits snugly right around the top of the or the base of the Rough Country top hat. You're just going to slip that right over. Once you do, you'll notice you'll have all the thread space in the world to go ahead and place another rubber insulator down on it. All right, now once we have that rubber insulator on all the way, we can go ahead, take our washer right on top, and our top nut from the Bilstein, put that on. I believe this one should be a 15mm as well. Yes, it is. Alrighty, so now that we have the top nut on hand tight, we're going to go ahead, crank her down, send her home. After that, we'll be able to go ahead and remove the spring compressor tools, and we will be able to install our new studs, and we will be completely done assembling our new Rough Country top hats. So now that we have our top nut fully seated, we can go ahead and remove our spring compressor tools. And once we have our spring compressor tool completely removed, it's finally time to install the top studs. So the studs that are included with the kit, you just take your new stud, slide it right underneath, take your locking washer, put it right on top, just get it hand tight. You're going to go ahead and just take a socket and send her home. And there you go. So that is it, guys. Your brand new Rough Country top hat on your strut assembly, just like that. Super simple, like I said, guys. Alrighty guys, that's all I got for you today. Like I said, this was just a simple unboxing and assembly video. If you guys would like to see a full suspension install on my TrailBlazer, please check out the other video, which may be released before or after this video comes out. I'm not too sure yet, but either way, when it is released, I will put that video in the link in the description below. But anyway guys, if you guys found this video helpful at all, please hit that thumbs up button. Also subscribe to the channel for future TrailBlazer and other motorsport related content. Until the next one guys, I will see you then. Peace.